If you ask most fans of My 600-Pound Life who the youngest patient on the show ever was, you'll get the same few names every time. Christina Phillips, Seana Collins, or Amber Rachdi. All young, all compelling, but not the youngest, because the actual record holder was never even supposed to be on the show in the first place. His name is Garrett Rogers, and the story of how he ended up in Dr. Now's office and what happened when he got there is one of the most remarkable journeys this show has ever aired. To understand Garrett, you have to understand the family he came from, because this wasn't a story that started with him. His aunt, Robin McKinley, was 40 years old and over 600 pounds, living in Kansas and barely getting through each day. Her husband James was there, but the person she leaned on most for the day-to-day was Garrett, her nephew. They had a routine. Garrett would bring Robin food, and when that wasn't enough, the two of them would head to the supermarket together, loading up on everything they loved. Robin once described it plainly. They were partners in crime.
Usually Garrett's the one who takes me because he likes to eat almost as much as I do.
You ready to go to the store? Yep.
So we're kind of partners in crime.
But underneath that unhealthy dynamic was something that ran much deeper than just the two of them. Obesity had already taken someone from this family. Robin's sister had died years earlier, and her weight was a contributing factor.
But a year after that, when I was 38, my sister passed away, and I still haven't fully recovered from it. With how bad it's gotten now, I'm likely the next one to die because of my weight.
And Garrett's father, Chris, who was Robin's brother, was also severely overweight and deteriorating. The same pattern was playing out again in the next generation.
We worry about you and want to get you back to where you need to be.
Yeah, but I worry about you.
This was a family in a slow emergency, and everyone knew it. So Robin and Chris made a decision. They were going to go to Houston together, walk into Dr. Now's office, get on the program, and finally do something about their weight. It was the right call. It was long overdue. But fate had other plans. A few weeks before the trip, Chris had a heart attack in his sleep.
But Chris had a heart attack while he was sleeping, and he almost didn't make it.
Chris survived, but he was left too weak to travel. The trip to Houston, the one they'd committed to and actually planned, was off the table. And that's the moment the story changed. Seeing his father nearly die in his sleep was a life-changing experience for Garrett. It rattled him to the core. He wasn't going to let this moment pass or let himself drift towards the same doomed fate.
But I feel this trip is necessary for our weight and my weight issues also. And that it is a good opportunity for us to get our lives straight.
Garrett told Robin that he'd go with her instead. Garrett had no obligation to do this, mind you. He hadn't been planning for it, but he stepped into the space his father left behind and said he was ready. At his first appointment, Garrett stepped on Dr. Now's scale and weighed 607 pounds. Dr. Now has seen everything. He sat across from patients at every stage of this illness, in every level of denial, carrying every kind of damage. But even he paused at what he was looking at.
And how old are you?
I'm 20.
You're 20 years old?
Yes.
That's a lot of weight gain in a short time at that age. So you're on track to be the world's heaviest person if something doesn't change.
Let that land for a second. Not the heaviest person on the show, the heaviest person in the world. That's what the trajectory looked like for Garrett at age 20 if he kept going like this. Dr. Now put both Garrett and Robin on a 1,200-calorie, high-protein, no-carb diet with a clear target to lose 50 pounds each within a month. Hit that goal, and surgery becomes an option. Speaking of which, we're trying to hit a goal too. Subscribe to the channel real quick and give this video a hype. Garrett went home to Kansas knowing exactly what was at stake. He changed his eating habits, he committed to the program. He even brought a copy of Dr. Now's plan back to his father so the whole family could be involved. He didn't just chase his own recovery, but he wanted his entire family to get healthy alongside him. But when Garrett returned to Dr. Now for his follow-up, the scale told a different story.
I have never been able to lose this much weight before. But Dr. Now set the goal for 50 pounds and I didn't reach it. And I'm just a little disappointed about that.
Garrett had lost 22 pounds. A start, but nowhere near the 50-pound target. Dr. Now wasn't satisfied, so he asked Garrett directly what went wrong. And the answer that came back opened the door to something nobody was ready for.
So what is holding you up?
Motivation.
If saving your life is not motivation enough, then I don't know what is.
Dr. Now's answer was honest. Garrett's life was on the line. And that was all the motivation he needed. The only response was to go home, look at what he was doing, and decide if he meant it.
I agree with everything he said. We're just gonna have to work harder.
Yep.
Dr. Now gave him the same weight loss goal, and he added a condition. If they were serious about this, they needed to consider moving to Houston for a year. For most people on this show, that request is where the journey starts to unravel. It's where most people realize how much they actually have to give up and decide they're not ready. But Garrett said yes, even though the decision wasn't easy.
Everything is kind of hitting me all at once because it's our last day of packing and getting ready to move down to Houston. This will be my first time living away from my father.
Garrett packed up and made the move. By the time Garrett walked into Dr. Now's office for his next appointment, the scale read 531 pounds. That's 54 pounds gone in a month, and Dr. Now approved him for weight loss surgery. Robin had only lost 9 pounds, not reaching the required target. But before Garrett went into surgery, something was sitting heavily on him. This had started as Robin's journey. He had come along to support her, and now he was the one going in first.
But I am very surprised I'm going into surgery before Robin. And if I could trade places with my aunt right now, I would, because she needs this more. And the whole point of the trip was to get help for her. I was just trying to do it with her. So I feel a little guilty about going first.
Despite getting the surgery before Robin, Garrett hoped that watching him go through it would be exactly the push Robin and his father needed to follow through on their journeys. Garrett's response to that moment said everything about who he was.
I'm hoping to pay this forward and use this tool not just for myself, but to encourage Robin to work harder.
Got this, buddy.
And encourage my father to get healthy and lose weight so we can all do this. So this surgery will hopefully be a start to a new life for me and my family.
For a 20-year-old, that level of self-awareness is rare. The surgery went ahead successfully. Recovery meant a month on a liquid diet. But even while his own body was still healing, Garrett found a way to show up for Robin. He went on short walks with her, kept her moving, and kept her motivated.
You want to maybe walk a little bit with me?
Yeah, we can take a walk together. I can't go very far. I kind of
Yeah, neither can I.
push my knees too far, but I'll do my best. I'm giving as much as I can. And I'm trying to stick to everything I need, even all my exercises, including walking.
Oh, man.
Even though I don't agree with Dr. Now that the pain in my knees is normal for someone of my size.
And it worked. Robin's surgery was scheduled shortly after. And when the day finally came, Garrett was there alongside Robin's husband, James, to see her through it.
So I honestly don't know how I'm coping with the stress and anxiety of having surgery. I just am. But I really hope that I'm doing the right thing. Any advice since you've been through this?
Just stay calm and you'll get through it.
I'm cool as cucumber.
A few months after the operation, he weighed 337 pounds. He'd lost more than 180 pounds since surgery, and 270 pounds total since walking into Dr. Now's office for the first time. But the number on the scale doesn't fully capture what had actually changed. Garrett was finally creating a life of his own. Before all of this, his daily life had largely revolved around taking care of Robin. At 600 pounds, that was about the limit of what he could manage. Now he was signing up for welding classes and working toward his GED.
Today I'm headed to my welding class. I've started training and taking these classes, and I'm working to get my GED to start a career of my own. So doing this has been a goal of mine, and I'm really excited about it. I need to start providing for myself and get out on my own.
Everything was moving in the right direction. The surgery was behind him, a good career path was ahead of him, and for the first time, Garrett had momentum. But then, COVID hit. The thing about Dr. Now's program is that it assumes a year or two of regular check-ins and consistent structure. COVID eliminated all of that almost overnight. Garrett moved back to Kansas to be with his father. Robin and James followed. Nearly 2 years passed before either of them could get back to see Dr. Now in person. In situations like this, most people backslide. And who could blame them? The pandemic was one of the hardest things any of us had to live through. If there was ever an excuse to give up, this was it. But Garrett didn't let it happen.
It's been a hard year. I'm really glad I came back to Kansas when I did with everything that had happened, because I've been able to be with my family and take care of my dad like I need it.
When he finally made it back to Dr. Now's office after those 2 years, Garrett walked in weighing 253 pounds. He'd maintained his discipline and continued losing weight through a global pandemic, far from his doctor, motivated by the life in store for him on the other side. But the final chapter brought one more hurdle. Garrett had qualified for skin removal surgery, and Dr. Now wanted him back in Houston for the procedure and the recovery period that follows. Garrett said no. He'd already left his father once to come to Houston. He wasn't doing it again.
As long as you still try, we'll arrange to do extra skin surgery on you for whenever works for you. Because you need to come down here for about 4 to 6 weeks. If we're gonna do that, so I can make sure your recovery goes like it needs.
Well, if I can't be down here for that long, what are my options?
So instead of backing down, Dr. Now suggested qualified surgeons closer to home. Garrett decided to go with Dr. Mona Rain, who performed his surgery successfully. 4 years after that first appointment, Garrett weighed 227 pounds, a total weight loss of 380 pounds.
Hello, how are you doing? Your surgery went well. Awesome. May I touch your abdomen? Have you touched it?
No, I haven't. Oh my.
Do you feel it? Flat? Yes. I'll let you sleep.
Garrett came in as the supporting character, but somewhere along the way, he became one of the most compelling patients the show has ever featured. And while he may have been the youngest patient this show has ever seen, Garrett was anything but immature. To see who takes that title of the most immature patient ever on the show, watch this video next.